Test, test, test. What's going on, yo? What's going on? Let me know how we sounding. We got a few setups we're looking at right now. We're about to break this stuff down in a second, y'all. You already know the drill. Make sure you like the live and subscribe. Got a new video dropping for y'all later on today as well. Man, look at this wick, y'all. That's a nasty wick. I was gonna look for this buy setup here, but I guess they ain't wanna let us hop into this shit. It did a nice move last night as soon as market opened. I've been trading gold Tokyo session personally a lot. So I might start calling some Tokyo session plays. We'll see. But it did a nice move when market opened last night. And as you can see, it literally hit the level it was looking for and shot back up. But the game plan for gold is buys. If y'all couldn't guess, we've been going for buys the past couple days, and the price has been pushing up the past couple days. So we're going to be looking for buys, right? So we can maintain 41.62 as support. We're going to look for buys. So now we're going to look for price to retest that level, or if we could break back above and hold 41.80 as support, we could look for buys going to 41.94. All right, jump. NAS100, we're going to be looking for buys as well. So we're either going to look for price to retest 25.270 and hold that as support, or if we can break above and hold 25.370 as support, we could look for buys going to 25.450. All right, and then for Forex, we're going to be looking for GU and GJ buys. We're looking for buys on everything today, y'all. If y'all was in Wednesday's live stream, GU ended up going as projected. GJ ended up going as projected on that was Thursday. Well, did the same move Wednesday and Thursday, right? Wednesday, GJ ended up going as projected. Gold obviously ended up going as projected because me and the members took that trade off the 9:30 open. And then yeah, so we're gonna see what happens today. Also, y'all, it is Friday. Like I always say at the beginning of the week, we do what? We drop these Sunday chart analysis. And what do I always tell y'all? 111. The Sunday chart analysis does not just go over what we see price doing Sunday night going into Monday, but it goes over what we see price doing throughout the entire week. So what I want y'all to do is watch this. Either watch it right now or watch it after the live is over. Pay attention to, you can skip the news, right? Pay attention to my analysis, the price points, the direction I was saying price could go, and then look at where price is at right now. You see what I'm saying? Again, when you understand how the charts work, it's very simple to understand what I'm going to do next. Because again, price does not come up with new tactics on a day-by-day basis. It does the same shit, just different ways. Oh, look at that rejection back down. New 5 minute just popped up, so it can come a little bit lower. We could possibly look for this buy setup here. Make sure I like the live and subscribe as y'all hop up in here, y'all. We're almost at 4,300 subscribers. We can get to that easily. If y'all got any questions, drop them in the chat. When we look at any charts, drop them in the chat. But you already know the drill. We're just chilling, patiently waiting right now. New 15 about to pop up in a little bit. So I'm about to see how gold reacts right here. What's going on, y'all? What's going on? Use manipulation. We use manipulation to our advantage. There's manipulation at all times, right? And that's something we have to understand, right? So a lot of times when people talk about manipulation and all this other stuff, they don't really understand. I'm not talking about you personally. I'm just talking about in general because there's not just you in this live, right? But we use manipulation to our advantage, right? That's why we enter off of support and resistance levels, right? We use the manipulation of when price reacts to these key price levels. We know there's going to be extra push momentum in our direction, right? So if you understand how manipulation works, you can just use that to your advantage. You know what I'm saying? But I don't really trade thinking like that. All I care about is what direction price is going and then going that direction. You get what I'm saying? Make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok as well, y'all. Y'all see it scrolling at the bottom of y'all screens. Instagram, playmaker_way, TikTok _playmakerway_. Post daily on both pages. Got a new video dropping for y'all later on today. Y'all make sure to have y'all's noties on. But yeah, we need manipulation. So again, when you understand how the manipulation works, just use it to your advantage. You get what I'm saying? So we're about to see my trading view is lagging because there's a new 15 and it's not showing up. It's lagging on gold. That new 15 ain't pop up. Interesting. I wonder if it's just my source. Let me see what's the other sources. Because speaking of gold, last night was hilarious. So yeah, it's just my chart that gold is not showing the new level on new 15. Interesting. Why my chart? All right, so this was not showing it either. So half these gold charts are frozen. They must know we're about to make a bag off gold. Because let me tell you what gold did last night, right? So the markets opened at 6 o'clock last night, right? Gold didn't open up to trade until 7 o'clock. And as soon as 7 o'clock opened, and when he was able to trade gold last night, that thing exploded immediately. Right? Like I would have not even put a TP, but I was gonna go for a quick move for Tokyo session. I'm gone for like 30 minutes to go cook me some food. I come back to my computer to look at my trade. I'm already out that motherfucker. But yeah, but gold is not popping up another candle, so that's very interesting why it's not showing up. But it is what it is. We'll see what's gonna fix itself. Let me go on my phone and see what's tripping on my phone too. But there's still other setups, so ain't no big. NAS isn't showing up another 15 as well. I wonder if it's because the banks are still technically closed. But like I said, last night I was able to trade gold and the candlesticks were just forming. So it's very interesting how NAS and gold aren't showing updated candlesticks. But it is what it is. We'll just pull up on the Forex pairs. Because now NAS ain't showing a new candlestick either. It might be because the market. Damn, there's going to be a nice setup there too. It's all good. We're just 20 minutes into London session. We still got all of New York. Speaking of New York, we do not have any news today. All right, so we're simply just going to be waiting for volume and the confirmations to be met. All right, y'all. So I want to know, did anyone trade yesterday during the day or last night? Well, not last night, but yesterday. Right, yesterday morning, London session, Tokyo session before Thursday. So Wednesday night, Thursday morning, or New York session yesterday. Did anybody trade? because there was like a couple setups that played out yesterday. Um, this one played out Wednesday night during Tokyo session, and then GJ ended up playing out like pre-New York. But besides that, everything else was kind of just ranging, which was not too much of a shock or surprise. This dude, no, that was Wednesday. Yeah, like NAS100 ain't do a damn thing yesterday. So I'm just going to assume the markets are going to fix themselves when New York session pops up. It is interesting how they was just forming up until this new 15, both NAS and gold, but it's all good. So with GU, we're going to be looking for buys, right? So if y'all was in Wednesday's live stream, GU ended up going as projected. So we're going to be looking for continued buys. So we're really going to be looking for price to retest and maintain 3,200 as support. We're going to look for buys going back up to 3,220, or if we can break back above and hold 3,220 as support, we can look for buys going to 3,240. All right, and then with GJ, we're going to be looking for buys as well. So we're either going to be looking for price to retrace and maintain 206.25 as support, or if we can break back above and hold 206.70 as support, we're going to be looking for buys going to 207.15. So we got a few setups we're looking at, y'all. Yes, I'm gonna keep an eye on gold, but I'm just gonna assume it's gonna be like this for at least an hour or until New York session pops up, because it's NAS100 too. So now it's got me wanting to look to see if US30 SPX are doing that as well. Yeah, US30 SPX are doing that as well. So yeah, it's probably because the market's closed technically. The market was open last night though, but that's the thing with like bank holidays, especially when it comes to like futures and stocks. Like they're super strict with those times compared to like forex pairs and things like that. If you got any questions, drop them in the chat. When we're looking at any charts, drop them in the chat. I'm about to catch you to the chat in a second. I'm just trying to get some videos set up for. Hold on one second. Okay, cool. I just got a maintenance email from one of my prop firms. But that's for Sunday. I thought that was going to be the reason why, but no. I got a good video lined up for y'all today, though. But y'all are subscribed to the YouTube. Make sure to have y'all's noties on. I'm gonna start doing my part as well and letting y'all know, just like when I go live on YouTube or TikTok, I'll start doing my part to let you know when I drop a new video. But YouTube and Instagram is a little bit different from TikTok, right? Like TikTok, their algorithm pushes you out more to people that don't follow you. But with Instagram and YouTube, they rely more on your followers and subscribers, right? So if y'all be interacting and watching the videos, then they'll push it out to more people, right? So make sure to catch up to the videos, y'all like and comment, all that good stuff. And then watch to the end if y'all can. But yeah, so that's how YouTube and Instagram works. It's a little bit reverse from whoops, almost did something on accident. It's a little bit different from what you call it from TikTok. Because I was doing some research and I was like, why does this work this way, but this work that way? And that's apparently what YouTube and Instagram be doing. But like I said, I'm gonna start letting y'all know too, like when videos be dropping. But make sure to hit that bell if you do not have that bell. Because again, you know how we do it over here. Every video I drop, every post is full of game and information that's gonna help y'all out. Let's see what this next 15 looks like. So we're gonna be paying attention to GU and GJ because gold and NAS decided to just go to sleep on us. So hey, ain't nothing we can do about that. It's like only one gold chart I think that's working, if I'm not mistaken. Against this one. And this would have been a nice re-entry too, which is hilarious because this is where we was looking for buys at. So we would have been able to get into that entry too. Matter of fact, let me see if my broker, if I can trade gold to my broker right now. Let me see if I can trade gold on my broker right now. Yes, I can. So it's literally just my chart and a couple other charts that aren't showing up, but this chart's still showing. Now this chart's frozen. Y'all saw how this chart was just working and now it's frozen? That's hilarious. Yeah, so we're getting trolled right now, y'all. We're getting trolled. They're like, Way's been killing gold. We'll wait till New York session at least. Like, y'all just caught gold before the holiday. Like, can you give us some time to, you know, let other people catch gold? I guess that's what they're telling us, right? So we're gonna leave gold alone for right now. We'll come back to New York session and see what it's talking about because that's absolutely hilarious how that just froze. And now we got this 15 trying to pop up. Yeah, now the charts are doing some weird shit. Now trade if you're in here. Now you're about to hear me say it for the first time. Now I'm with you with those. This is some crazy manipulation, but at the end of the day, I still don't really care too much about it because at the end of the day, just stick to your game plan. That's all that matters, right? Everything else is just outside noise. But this is fucking hilarious what's going on right here. But everything else is outside noise. What I noticed is if you just pay attention to your game plan, everything else don't really matter. Everything else is gonna fall into place. You know what I mean? Just like with my setups, right? I'm at the point now where I do not care what price does in between my levels. Like I don't care about this drop to the downside. I'm not gonna try to go for sells. I'm at the point where I simply and only go for my setups, right? And like I'm at the point where if it's not hitting my alerts or one of my levels, I do not care at all what's going on. But as soon as it gets to my levels, then I'm locked in and looking to see what's going to take place. So we're about to see what this next 15 looks like, y'all. I'm editing some multitasking right now. We're doing a bunch of things at once. We're looking at some charts, trying to get some videos lined up for y'all today as well. Because I ain't gonna lie, I caught up on sleep yesterday. And I was thrown off. I had to remind myself that yesterday was not Friday or Saturday. And that we still got one more day to take some setups. So I ain't gonna lie, I was like, because I really only sleep in like on the weekends and shit. So the amount of sleep I got consecutively in a row, it was like it was the weekend or some shit. But then my alarms for the week were going off still. So I was like, oh shit, it is definitely still the middle of the week. All right, so gold just alerted us. So let's see if gold's working now. Yeah, they said, yeah, y'all thought you was gonna get an easy setup. Nope, not right now. Let's see what GU does right here. It's definitely time to lock in. If y'all haven't been locked in, y'all should have been locked in since the beginning of the year, especially not if since what you call it, the beginning of quarter 4. But y'all definitely need to lock in right now because these next 3 weeks after this week, these next 3 weeks are going to be very important and interesting. One, because these are the next 3 weeks before we have nothing going on, right? Because after these next 3 weeks, we got Monday and Tuesday, and then after Monday and Tuesday is going to be absolutely dead for the rest of that week, right? But not just this week. It's going to be dead until probably the 3rd, like it was last year. Let's see if I'm right. I mean, we could possibly see a setup on Monday and Tuesday. I think we traded that Monday and Tuesday after Christmas last year. But then, as you can see, right after that Monday and Tuesday again, dead again till, like I said, the 3rd. All right, so just keep that in mind. That doesn't mean there won't be any setups because if we go to the first link in the description, join the free signal free Telegram, we can see that quarter 4 last year, even in December, we did take setups, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to just take a trip down memory lane. We're just going to take a trip down memory lane. And we're doing this right now because ain't shit going on, right? So we're not missing anything. But we're just going to take a trip down memory lane. Whoops, I messed up. Okay. So if we go to October 3rd, you can see how we did quarter three. 56.7 gives an 89% win rate. We had a 90% win rate quarter two, 52.6. Then we had a 90% win rate quarter one, 44.5. And then when we go to quarter four last year, yeah, so you see we took a little bit less trades, but we still ended the month in profit, right? So we already are ahead in October and November because last year, October, we only took 16 trades, but last month, which was October, we took 34 trades. So obviously, it's not going to be the exact same as last year because we took way more trades this year, last month, than we did October last year, right? But we still ended up with a 91% win rate quarter four last year and still ended November, December up, right? And we took way more than 14 trades so far this month also. But just to put that into perspective, so again, it might slow down a little bit, but it's quality over quantity, right? You don't have to take 20 trades every week, right? You can take 20 trades this week, 10 trades next week, or 15 trades next week. The point and the goal is to make sure that you're winning more than you lose, and that you're in profit at the end of the week, end of the month, end of the day. So I'm looking for some action, but we'll see what happens in the next couple of hours. But you already know how to do it. If we don't see any action between now and 6 a.m., we're just going to wait until New York session 8 a.m., 9:30 open. Just like how we did on Wednesday, we had news, so we traded before London. We traded during London session, we traded after the news. Just like we did on Tuesday, we looked for setups before the news, traded after the news. It's very, 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 very simple. But obviously today we don't got news. Man, this month, let alone this year, fucking flew. All right, let me cut to the chat, y'all. My bad. Like I said, I was editing some shit, but we're back on the YouTube chat. Let me cut you to the chat right now. Again, if y'all got any questions, drop in the chat. When we're looking at your charts, drop in the chat. NAS100 ain't doing that, though. I wonder if NAS100 is going to wake up and do something. But like I said, as of right now, we're just paying attention to GU and GJ. Like I said, on my broker, gold looks normal. It's literally just trading view that's looking wonky and funky. Like on my broker, gold looks normal. Like it doesn't even look like what it looks like on my trading view chart, which is very interesting. Like I'd show you my broker, but I'm not gonna put all my personal information out there. But my broker looks normal. Like it does not look like this at all. Even on the 15, it doesn't look like this at all. It looks like a normal. Matter of fact, let me take a picture so y'all can see it. I'll just do that. I'm just taking a picture. Right. So this is what gold looks like on my computer. But on my other monitor, on my broker, let me show you what gold's looking like, which is hilarious. Right. So I just sent it to myself. So let me pull it up. This is what gold's looking like on my broker. This is what gold's looking like. This is the 15. So I was retesting that level. We're looking for buys on right here. But this is what gold looks like. Wait, I'm on the 5 minute. Let me go back to the 15. Yeah, so this is what it looks like on the 15. Right. So you see this was the initial wick was looking for a retest off on the 3 a.m. candlestick. And then this was the 3 a.m. candlestick. This was the 3:15, and this is the 3:30 candlestick. But this is what TradingView's got for us. So it's actually going as projected, which is hilarious, but I'm not going to take the gold setup. I'm going to leave it be. But like it's actually pushing up and doing the move we're looking for right now, which is hilarious. I'm literally watching on my screen it push up and try to take out that next high. But we're going to let it be. We're going to let it do its thing. All right, let me see what's going on. Um, I mean, I don't look at the 1 minute in general. I don't. That's another thing. I don't go into the super small. I don't go past the 5 minute because anything under the 5 minute, at least for me, isn't giving me that much information. Right? We go to the 1 minute. All these candlesticks are going to look big as fuck. That's how people get fucked up as well. Because again, when you go on TikTok or Instagram, 90 times out of 10, when they talk about price action being bad or not understanding what price is doing and they flip their screen, 9 times out of 10, they're on the 5 minute, the 1 minute, the 30-second chart, and they're confused why they saw a juicy candlestick go down and then price flew to the other side. Is because, again, the smaller time frames you go to, they're going to look like big candlesticks, right? Like we look at GU, and if we zoom in, right, this looks like a big push, right? But if we actually look at how many pips this is at 3208, not even 3208 on the dot. Now, if we count this wick right here, let's count the wick. So 32, that's still not even 3208 on the dot, right? But you can see it went from 3208 to 3210, right? So this looks like a big push, but this is not even 2 pips, right? Versus we go to the same chart, but we go to the 15 and we look at a candlestick that looks like a big push, or even we look at this candlestick, 3215, 32.8, right? So again, looks like the same size, but way bigger move, right? So that's how people get fucked up looking on smaller time frames. So I don't even look at the 1 minute, so because that's just going to confuse me or throw me off. Again, I'm not too concerned with what price is doing at the exact moment until I'm looking for my confirmations to enter. Again, the smaller time frames only show you what price is doing at that exact moment. The bigger time frames tell you the direction price is going. So that's why, again, every trade we go for is based off the bigger time frames. That's why price can look like it's going down, but I'm telling y'all go for buys. And then when y'all look for the retest of this level, instead of price going down, it goes up. It's because we're in an uptrend. You see what I'm saying? Just like right here, right? A lot of people would have saw this juicy candlestick and be like, oh, look at this inversion, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to go for a sell once this gap gets filled up. And they'll be confused why price flew to the upsides because, again, on the bigger time frames, we're bullish, right? So, again, you don't want to chase price. You want to follow the flow of price, just like right here. Y'all would have saw this juicy, again, this isn't even a gap, but people call these gaps for some reason. People would see this on a smaller time frame or this big push on a smaller time frame and then look for sells here. And then when they get wicked out, they're confused, right? And then, like, for example, they would have put their sell here, right? Boom. Their stop loss would not be here. Let's be real. You know, they put their stop losses tight as fuck so they can get these big ass RRs, but they don't tell you it's because they only have a 2 pip stop loss, right? And then when they went for the sell here, they would have got fucked up and they would have called this a fake liquidity grab, right? And then when they would have re-entered here, they would have got fucked up again. And then they would have been, then they go on the internet and be like, I don't understand why price didn't go down when the news report said blah, 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 blah. And it's because, again, everybody's making decisions on smaller time frames based off news events and shit versus following the money. When people say follow the money, they're talking about the charts, right? Not Twitter posts and all this other shit. But we got a new 5 minute about to pop up in a little bit. About to cut to the chat, y'all. Again, if y'all got any questions, drop in the chat. Want to look at any charts, drop in the chat. And if y'all do not understand how I trade, I just dropped the trade breakdown on Wednesday. You go to the playlist. There's a playlist titled Trade Breakdowns. There's over 100 videos at back-to-back various buy and sell setups. Make sure to check that out. Make sure to explore all playlists. All playlists are up to date. Again, we don't just live stream on YouTube. We don't just live stream on TikTok. I post weekly and daily content, all pages that's going to help y'all out. Appreciate those that like the live. Make sure to like the live, y'all, and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. But let's see what else we got going on here. And again, if my mic sounds fucked up, whether I sound far away or sounds a little scratchy, let me know so I can fix it. All right, but let's see what else we got going on here. Yeah, your golden NAS doing the same. Like I said, it's probably because of the market, but you know, is what it is. Right, like especially when it comes to trading, like if you miss your entry or things like that where you can't control, there's no point in stressing too much about it. That's why I'm like I'm cracking jokes about it, but I'm not really too stressed because again, we're up for the week, right? And we're just 40 minutes into London session, so there's still plenty of time to catch a setup between London and New York session, right? But this is why it's important to step back and understand the positions you're in. You see what I'm saying? Like we're 5-0 for the week. We went 6-2 last week. We went 6-1 the week before that, and then we went 8-0. Right, so we're up for the month. We're up for the week. So there's no rush to jump back into a trade or a setup, especially if we can't see what we're looking at, or especially if it's not high probability setup. So this actually worked out, because if I would have went for the buy setup, let me go look at my broker. I probably would have got fucked up. Let me see what my broker's showing me. Yeah, I probably would have got fucked up. My SL probably would have got hit. So it worked out in the end, right? Because this glitch saved us from entering that trade and getting fucked up. So it worked out in the end. Like I said, I might try to retrace some, and we'll find a nice setup going into New York. I have no doubt about that, unless it just wants to consolidate or retrace all day. Because sometimes, especially we have big moves happen during the week, Fridays can end up being retracement days. Like last week on Friday, that's why we didn't take a trade, because some moves happen a little too quick, and then after that, prices kind of ranged and retraced for the rest of the day. Let's see what else we got going on here. Yeah, so trying to fix this up right now. You guys will stop moving brokers are down. Okay. Yeah, as I learned, things good is not for trading. Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing, because I didn't go live yesterday, but I did take some setups. Now I didn't call any signals and shit, obviously. And then, like I said, last night I traded as well, right? So during the day yesterday, so this is how things went after I did the recap of Wednesday, right? So I did the recap of Wednesday at 6:53. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock that night, I took this gold buy. No, not this one. I took this gold buy. Right. I took this that Wednesday night before Thanksgiving. Right. And then I took this GJ buy around 6 p.m. yesterday as well. Right. So there are setups. The thing is, and the main reason why people be like, don't trade on holidays. Now, like Christmas and all that shit, I ain't doing shit on those days, right? That's different, right? Because it also depends on the importance or the severity of the holiday, I should say, right? Because I don't really celebrate holidays that much, but through the years, I can tell what holidays are going to be impacting the markets more than not, right? Like, so Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, all that good shit. That's going to affect the markets a lot. More times than not, the markets are going to be dead as fuck, because all the banks around the world are going to be closed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So it was like a holiday, like we had like a month or two ago, like what was it, Columbus or Veterans or some shit like that. Those holidays aren't as severe or celebrated by everybody around the world like those type of holidays. So, there can be some setups, right? It's just like when people say, oh, if there's no news on Monday, I'm not trading. But we trade every fucking Monday and we catch setup, right? It's just like when people are like, oh, there's news today, so I'm not going to trade at all. But we trade on news days, we make bread, right? So there's reasons why people say that shit. But most of the time, it's just because people don't understand what the fuck's going on. But when it comes to holidays, the reason why people say don't trade on holidays is because there is going to be a lack of volume, and then depending on what you do trade, there will be market closure or just like no volume at all. You get what I'm saying? So there's a reason why people do say that. But at the end of the day, if you go for your setup, right, you're going to find a setup and opportunity any day out there. Right, that's one thing I noticed, right? Because they also say, "Oh, don't trade Tokyo session," or their setups during Tokyo session, right? But they'd be like, "Oh, Asian session slow." New York session slow sometimes too. London session slow sometimes too, right? So that's why I tell members and students, right? If your setup is there, your confirmations are met, just take the setup, let it do what it's going to do, because the markets are going to do what the market's going to do, right? But at the same time, as you trade and the days, weeks, and months go on, you're going to be able to know just by market structure and the way the setup is being played out or potentially going to play out, whether it's worth taking the setup or not. Right? Just like with that gold setup, I was showing y'all like on my broker, gold was moving. What I said, since it's not, I don't see it on my chart, my trading view, I'm not going to take the setup. And then what happened like 10 minutes later? If I would have took that setup, I would have got wicked out, right? So the old me, like 2-3 years ago, I would have took that setup. I would have been FOMOing like a motherfucker. I
Some
would have
people
took
just
that
don't
shit.
get it.
You see what I'm
That
saying?
storage space
But
isn't
because I got some years under my belt and I've been here, but been there, done that. And like I said, I took a step back and I'm like, I don't have a need to take this setup. You know what I'm saying? Not to say I'm not gonna take a trade at all today, but I have a need to rush and take that setup, especially if I don't see what the fuck's going on. Because again, we're still up for the week, we're still in profit. So it's not like I need this trade to get some bread or something like that. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, bananas is sweet. Like I said, it's probably gonna be like this until New York open. I wouldn't be too shocked or surprised. So I'm pretty sure it's gonna get back to normal at 8 or 9:30. The new 15 did just pop up, y'all. Again, if y'all got any questions, drop them in the chat. When you look in the chart, drop them in the chat. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I see that's following y'all screens. Instagram _underscore TikTok _underscore. I post daily on both pages. All right, so we just pushed back up. Looks like we're back to our regularly scheduled programs. NAS100, not too much. We're going to see how gold plays out here. So we're going to look for a retest. So again, if gold can maintain 41.62 as support, we're going to look for buys going to 41.78. And then we can break above and maintain 41.78 as support. We're going to look for buys going back up to the highs here of 41.94. All right, so we're gonna see what this next 5 and 15 looks like.
Taking care of your money is taking care of your mental health.
All right, we got a new 15 about to pop up in a little bit. But let's see what this 4 AM candlestick looks like. So we're going to see if we can maintain this little bit of support right here. Looking at gold, and then we're going to look to see how GU and GJ react to these levels down here. We're going to be on for a little bit longer, y'all. If y'all got any questions, drop in the chat. When we look at any charts, drop in the chat. All right, let's see what this next 15 looks like. All right, gold just trolled us again. So we're just going to leave it to be. We're right back at that level. I'm like, that's twice now. As soon as we're at that level, Trading View wanted to glitch on your boy, which I find hilarious. But of course, on my broker, that thing moving as projected. Man, look at that. Would have been a nice entry right here. But it's all good. We got GU and GJ about to approach these levels. We're about to see how they react to these levels right here.
Streak is our favorite CRM.
GJ pushing up. So I'm looking for a setup. We're going to be on for a couple more candlesticks. Yeah, the market's just reopened. So, like always, we don't see any action between now and 6 a.m. We're just going to wait for 8 a.m., 9:30 New York Open, and then go from there. But the game plan's still the same today, though.
Discovery Houston, press to ATO. Liftoff of mission 41B, the first flight of the Discovery, and the shuttle has cleared the tower. Discovery, go and throttle up. Discovery's 4 computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
And I'm over here talking to myself like I'm crazy. I was muted the whole time. Make sure to hit that first link in the description. Y'all join the free signal free Telegram. Y'all saw on your screens how we did last month and last quarter. Go ahead and hit that first link and check it out for yourselves. Again, we've been absolutely killing it this year and this month. So it looks like we got some action, some volume starting to pump into these markets. So we're about to see how GU and GJ react to these two levels. And I'm liking gold. Gold did some weird shit, but I'm still liking this gold setup. It's doing a nice retest right here. So I'd be lying if I said I ain't like this setup here.
At Granger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every.
New 15 just popped up. I'm liking this gold setup here. I think GC, the markers are closed for the futures traders. Because I just looked at the GC charts, they're frozen as well. I'm liking that gold setup, I'm not going to lie. GU, again, we're going to be looking to see if we can break above and maintain 3220 as support. If we can, we can look for buys going to 3240. And then with GJ, we're going to be looking to see again if we can either retest 206.25 or if we can break above and hold 206.70 as support. We can look for buys going to break up to the highs here at 207.15. Yeah, I'm liking this right here. Again, we did have the holiday yesterday, so especially on the futures and indices side, things might not wake up fully until New York Open. But we don't have any news today, so we're simply just waiting for volume and our confirmations to be met. There won't be no TikTok live today, y'all. But I do got a new video dropping for y'all later on today in the beginning of New York session. So make sure to be on the lookout for that. And then I also got some new Instagram and TikTok posts lined up for y'all today as well. All right, y'all. Again, I didn't call it GC signal because I'm pretty sure the future traders I can't even trade until New York Open, can y'all? Because I looked at the GC charts. The GC charts are kind of bugged out as well. So on the gold side, well, the indice side, I'm in this setup. Again, it was acting a little bit funky and wonky, but we are looking for buys. So unless we flip and end up reversing today, or we're doing a reversal before New York session starts, buys is valid on gold and NAS100, right? Like again, we already retested this level, so unless they want to retest this level again, or today ends up being a retracement consolidation day like last Friday, buys is valid. And again, it did do a nice move when market opened. Like literally as soon as market opened for gold at 7 o'clock, that thing flew to the upside. Then it just retraced back. So unless we retest these lows below us, I'm liking this buy setup right here. Again, with NAS100, we're going to be looking for buys as well. We're no longer in the bearish momentum. We reversed, right? That's why we went for sells the past couple weeks. But then this week, we can see price obviously reversed. So now we're going to be looking for buys, right? So with NAS100, if we can maintain and hold 25,270 as support, we're going to be looking for buys going to 25,370. All right. If it does retrace and retest 25,180, you can look for buys there as well. And then GU, we're going to be looking for buys as long as we can maintain 3,200 as support. If we can maintain 3,200 as support, we can look for buys going up to 3,220. And if we hold 3,225 as support, we can look for buys going back up to the highs here at 3,240. GJ, we're going to be looking for buys as well. So we're looking for buys on everything today as far as what I'm looking at. So with GJ, as long as we can maintain 206.25 as support, we're going to look for buys. Or we can break above and hold 206.75 as support. We're going to look for buys going back to these highs here at 207.50. All right, y'all. So that's the game plan for today. Again, if we don't see any action between now and 6 a.m., I recommend for everybody else to wait for 8 a.m., 9:30 New York Open. Shout out to everybody in the live, y'all. Shout out to everybody's been live since the beginning. Shout out to everybody's been live since y'all joined. And for the futures traders, you already know the New York price watch list. I'm going to put the futures side for y'all, the futures prices, because the prices are a little bit different. Got a new video dropping for y'all later on today on YouTube, and got some new posts lined up for y'all on Instagram and TikTok. Make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok. Y'all see that scrolling at the bottom of your screens. Instagram, Playmaker_Way, TikTok _Playmaker_Way_ post daily on both pages. Also, make sure to hit that first link in the description. Join the free stream from Telegram. You see on your screen how we did last month and last quarter. This is the last week of the month, so next week we will be doing the it would help if I go to the actual week, right? So next week we will be doing the recap of how we did last month. All right, but a quick sneak peek of how we did this month. We're 5-0 this week so far. Last week we went 6-2. The week before that we went 6-1, and then we went 8-0 the first week in November. So we lost like 4 trades this month, which is not bad. But yeah, so we're going to see what New York session, the rest of London session got in store for us. Like always, you want to contact me directly. You can DM me on Instagram, Telegram, or TikTok. I respond to all messages. And yeah, enjoy y'all's weekend. Like I always say, do not waste y'all's weekend. Review y'all's trades, winners, losers. Catch up to the videos. All playlists are up to date. But yeah, so we're going to see what the rest of London going into New York's got in store for us.